Umuzi, Zulu for Village, is a photography club for primary and secondary school learners in Soweto and other developing communities in Johannesburg. It was born with a vision to empower learners with photography skills and promote artistic self-expression and critical thinking as a means for raising social awareness. At a series of interactive and fun workshops, learners are introduced to basic photography and visual literacy. Joining me now is David Dini. He's the director of the Umuzi Photo Club, and club member Ayanda Rumbu, who's a learner at the Kwena Molapo High School. David, let's start with you. Good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Why did you start this project?
Well, years ago I had read in National Geographic of a photographer who went to a rural community, a rural developing community, and distributed cameras to school children and had them just document their surroundings. And the images that came out of this project were phenomenal, and it was an amazing way to raise social awareness. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, is raise social awareness.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, part of the joy and of taking pictures is about knowing your subject well, and who knows the subject well than people who actually live in these communities. How easy or difficult is it to teach young kids how to use cameras?
Geez, we've had a few different experiences. We've worked with students like Ayanda who are in high school and who have a better conceptual understanding of elements of photography. So we try to teach composition as well as visual literacy. And we've also worked with smaller school children. So it's very much more of a visual literacy based curriculum with the small kids, just exploring images and how the images make them feel about their surroundings.
Ayanda, I mean, you're looking at some of those pictures there, and these are some of the pictures taken by students like yourself. What does photography do for you? What does it mean to you, Ayanda?
Photography, you have to be passionate about it, and you have to make sure that you love everything about it. And since I've been involved in the project, I have fallen in love with photography, and I have enjoyed every single thing that we did.
David, again, you were saying, you know, teaching these concepts, there are some pretty practical things that kids need to be aware of. In terms of dealing with the equipment, I mean, do you work with really sophisticated equipment, or is it pretty sort of entry level?
Well, we're fortunate to work with the SNAP Foundation, which is a New York-based nonprofit organization. They've provided us with several hundred Kodak single-use point-and-shoot cameras. So they're very simple to use, and mostly our instructions around the elements of composition. So just to not shoot into the sun, make sure your angle of view is at eye level, things of that nature.
How expensive is it to run a project like this?
It is quite cash intensive. We've had the fortune of having very generous donors coming from the States, but we have the cost of transportation for the kids in some instances. We have the cost of developing the film, which can be very costly as well.
We're looking at this image now with the kids with the magnifying glasses. I mean, you brought this disc over yesterday for us to have a look at. I mean, it's pretty intense. It's pretty interesting how well they're able to compose subjects and to grasp some of the basics of storytelling, because photography is essentially an extension of storytelling.
That's right. Yeah, well, the classes are very interactive. We have them shoot and then come back, give us their cameras. We give them another camera, and we go through all their images at every workshop. And just like you saw in the picture, we will give them magnifying glasses, and we'll go through each picture and we'll talk about what's good and what's bad, and try to teach them what's a really well composed image.
Ayanda, let's bring you back in here. Well, what was your favorite? What is your favorite thing to shoot?
Shooting people, showing where I live, showing people what kind of life I live, what kind of place is that. So that was the best thing.
I mean, when you speak, you have a fire in your eyes. You have a joy for doing this. Do you think that if you weren't a part of this project that you would ever even think about doing photography?
No. Before the project was involved, before I wasn't involved in the project, I didn't even know how to take a picture. I didn't even know there are things that you have to look at. There are things that you should know when you're taking pictures. But since I was the part of the project, now I have a little bit of information.
Do you see yourself becoming a photographer?
Yes, the best photographer in the world.
And if you had a wish, who would you want to photograph most? Besides Nelson Mandela, everyone says Nelson Mandela. You're talking about telling stories in your community.
Okay. Okay, it did.
Ayanda's a little bit tongue-tied. I think she's spoiled for choice now. We wish you well, Ayanda, in your quest to become a world-class photographer. And David, well done on the project. Of course, if people want to donate some of their obsolete, perhaps camera equipment or anything photographic, they can do so. And how do they do that?
That's right. Well, we're having an exhibition tonight called From Ikazi with Love, and that's at 44 Stanley Avenue. And an interesting element of our program is we facilitate the ability for our learners to be able to exhibit their images in photo exhibitions. And at the exhibitions, for example, we had an exhibition in New York City just earlier this month where we sold several $1,000s worth of print. And effectively, the kids are generating their own income for their schools.
So it's already earning bucks.
Exactly.
Which is fantastic. All right, well, wish you luck with the exhibition this evening. Ayanda, good luck with your career. I'm sure we'll be watching out for you in years to come. David Dini there, director of the Umuzi Photo Club, and avid Photo Club member Ayanda Rumbu.